If you ever wanted to learn how to paint furniture and make it glamorous, in this video I'm going to teach you how. Here I got this beautiful end table and I'm going to show you how I'm going to paint it and make it glamorous. But before we get there, there is one thing that we have to do for the prep work, and that is clean. That is all you need for the prep work. You can use soapy water, vinegar, or crud cutter for cleaning. We're going to start by choosing a color. For this little table, I pick a beautiful color called Provence by Annie Sloan. Now we're going to pick a brush. You can really use any brush you prefer for chalk painting furniture, but my personal preference is Annie Sloan medium brush. It's created for chalk painted furniture. The first thing we have to do is open our can and stir it really good. You just want to keep stirring this until the color looks even and there is no lines in there. There is only two things you need to know here: how much paint to put on your brush and in which direction to guide your brush. When it comes to chalk painting furniture, using less paint on your brush is actually better. This is all you need on your brush. This is going to help you avoid a mess, creating buildups, and this is going to give you a nicer look, a nicer finished product. This is the easiest part now because you can just simply paint in every which direction. One little tip I want to give you is hold your brush by the handle. Avoid holding your brush like this, because when you hold it by the handle, it's going to give you a nice flexible movement and you can move your brush in every which direction. And when it comes to painting, you can simply go in every which direction. You can go back and forth, you can go any direction that you like. Don't try to cover everything on your first coat because that is just simply not possible. Don't worry how it looks. It's not supposed to look nice and good. We will get that on the second coat. For now, we're just trying to give this table one coat of chalk paint. So don't be scared of painting, just get that brush, dip it in paint and start painting in every which direction and have fun with it. Chalk paint brush is going to help you get in all these little crevices and hard to reach areas, and that's why it was designed the way it is. One amazing thing about chalk paint is that it sticks to any surface. So I don't have to worry about metal, glass, plastic, MDF, laminate. It sticks to everything. As I was painting the leg, I got this little buildup here. So this is something that you want to remove immediately before it gets dry. So all you have to do is just grab your brush and go over it and the buildup is gone. And now we're going to paint the top. And as you can see, I'm making circles here. You can paint in every which direction, as I said, or back and forth. It doesn't really matter. So that's why it's so easy and anyone can do it. And that's it. You now know how to paint furniture. It's easy as that. You grab the desired color, a brush, you dip it just a little bit, and you go on there, and don't be afraid of it. When using Annie Sloan chalk paint, usually you will get solid coverage with 2 coats, but there is going to be some colors that you will have to do a 3rd color as well. Usually that happens with white colors, sometimes with yellow, but most of the colors will give you solid coverage with 2 coats. And now we're going to let this table dry. For me, it's going to take about 30 minutes to dry completely, but really that depends on your environment that you're working in. It can take from 30 minutes to maybe hour, hour and a half if you're working in high humidity environment. My table is completely dry and we are going for the second coat. We're going to repeat exactly the same steps, get a little bit of paint and start applying it in every which direction. This is going to give us a solid coverage. It should give us a solid coverage, but in case it doesn't, we can always apply a third coat. A table like this, you should be able to paint in one day and transform it completely. So you're done painting now. Now you know how to paint furniture. You can be done here completely. All you have to do is protect the piece, which I'm going to show you later on how to do. But before we put protection on, I am going to show you how to glam up your pieces, and this is my favorite part. There's so many ways to do this, but I'm going to give you a few simple ideas that can make your pieces completely glamorous with just a little effort. The first thing we're going to do is add some Resin with Prima transfer. We're just going to use a little bit, so this is very beginner friendly, and this transfer is called Blush Bouquet. This is very simple to do. Today we will be using this midi transfer. You actually have a lot of design here, but I'm just going to use this today. My idea for this table is just to apply it on the front drawer. So in that case, I will have to connect it. But that is very simple and I'm going to show you how to do that. All you have to do to start is first measure how much you need of your transfer. But to help myself, I'm going to remove this little knob. And now we are going to get exact measurements we need. And now that I have measurement, I'm just going to cut it there. When cutting your transfer, it's always better to cut your transfer a little extra than too short. Because in case you cut too much, you can simply just remove it or paint over it. What we're going to do now, remove the protective paper from the back of the transfer. That will come off very easily. And you are going to position your transfer where you want it to be. Take your time with this, because this is measure twice, cut once kind of project. But once you have it where you want it to be, put it there, press it, and now we're going to use the stick that came with the transfer and we're going to rub it onto the furniture. So, all you want to do is rub your transfer and keep lifting the paper as you go, making sure everything is transferred behind. You should take your time with this. It goes pretty easy and fast, but always take your time when applying transfer, especially with a lot of details. When you're rubbing your transfer on, if you miss a spot, you will notice. So what you want to do is go back immediately, put the paper back on, and keep rubbing it until it's transferred 100%. Resin with Prima have so many different patterns, so in case you want to add something extra to your furniture and you don't want just a simple one color, this is a great way to go. They have everything from birds, flowers, and so many more designs. And that's it. That's how easy it is to apply a transfer. All I have to do now is connect it here, and then I can move on to some gold leaf. And we're just repeating the process now. connecting it together, and then we will be done. Oh my goodness, look at that, it's so beautiful! And here you can see how this looks so beautiful, and you saw how easy it was to apply this transfer and make your furniture completely different and much prettier, in my opinion. I was going to keep this table completely simple and just keep the transfer on the front drawer and move on to the next step. But now that I look at this table, I think I'm going to go around the table and add the transfer because it looks so beautiful with this pattern. And now that we're done applying the transfer, you can see how beautiful this table is. The possibilities are endless when using transfers. You can put them on the top of your pieces, on the side, on the doors, everywhere, or just a little bit. It's totally personal preference, but I definitely think that they add a beautiful touch to your furniture. The next thing we're going to do is do gold leafing on this table. This is my favorite part. This is what I love to do so much to my pieces because it just adds extra wow factor to all my pieces. What we're going to need for this step is gold leaf glue, and a detail brush. This is my gold leaf that I endorse, and the reason I really love to use my own gold leaf is because it's a little thicker than the rest of the gold leaf that I was using in the past. What we have here is 25 sheets of gold leaf imitation, and for this project I'm probably going to use around 5 to 10 sheets of this. This is very easy to do. Don't be scared of gold leafing. It's messy, that thing is for sure, but it's nothing to be scared of and afraid of because it's pretty easy. I'm just going to get a little bit of glue on my detail brush. Right now it's looking very milky and white, but in 15 minutes it's going to become transparent. Now you want to apply it only where you want gold leaf to go. You don't want to apply it too thick because it's going to take a very long time to be ready for gold leafing. So take your time with this part and don't rush the process. As you can see, my glue is now milky looking, so I'm just going to let it to become all clear, and once it becomes clear, it's going to be tacky to the touch. Right now, if I touch it, it's just wet. It doesn't give me any tackiness. So I'm going to continue applying the gold gilding glue around the table. And then by the time I'm done applying it everywhere, this one is going to be ready for gold leafing. It usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes to be ready, but you actually have a few extra hours once you apply it to work with it. Some gilding glue dries faster, some slower, but you definitely have some working time once you apply it. What will happen if I just try to apply a gold leaf right now immediately? It's going to just crumble everywhere. It's going to look messy. Half of the gold leaf won't stick to it. So just be patient and let it dry. And then we're going to go all over here. When it comes to gold leafing, you can put just a little bit on handle or little details, or you can keep on going like I am doing here. I want to add it all around this trimming area, and usually I just go with a filling. Whatever I feel, that's how much I put gold leaf. You can be also very simple with it. You can be very artistic, create some stripes, gold stripes. You can use it to stencil your pieces with gold leaf, or you can just keep it very simple and maybe add it only on your hardware. Now that my glue is dry, and I know that by feeling it, when I touch it, it feels stucky and it's not white anymore. Now I can apply gold leaf, and this is the best part. This is so fun, but it is messy. One thing I love to do is cut my gold leaf, and this is actually going to help me save and not waste so much materials. So I'm going to cut few strips like this. If I was to do a lot of gold leafing on a big piece of furniture, I will use a whole sheet, but since I am doing a detail work, this is the way I love to do it. I cut it, and that way I don't waste too much materials. All right, so we are going to attach it first to these beautiful roses on the corner. I'm just tapping it to make sure everything is transferred. What you can also do is get one of these papers that protect the gold leaf in your packaging, and you can tap it with that to make sure everything goes inside all the little areas. Those are the hardest to reach, so sometimes you have to repeat the process. You have to apply another sheet in order to cover all these little details. But again, that's totally personal preference. Some people like to leave it to show the color underneath, and sometimes some people love to cover everything completely. I do sometimes both. It depends on how I feel. All right. What would you want to do now is take a little brush and start flaking off all this extra gold leaf. But I like to do a whole project, a whole piece, apply the gold leaf first and then brush it everything at one time. It just makes more sense to me, because that way you're creating one big mess at once, and when you're done, you have a finished piece and then you can clean your mess. In case you want to cover everything and don't show any color, all you have to do is go with more gold leaf and a brush and get it in there. Just keep tapping and it will cover everything, all these little hard to reach areas. Brush is going to help you reach. Right? So now we're just going to keep on going and be patient, because you have to be patient for this part. But once we start brushing all this off, you are going to be amazed by your pieces if you try it, because it just does something amazing to furniture. It's a pretty essential part of glam, if you ask me, because there is nothing going to give you more glam than a gold leafing. And now that we're done applying the gold leaf, it's time to brush it off and see the magic happens. For this, you will want to use a synthetic flat brush. This is what I suggest. You can really use any brush, but I find much easier using a flat synthetic brush like this one. And now let the fun begin. You just want to go back and forth until you don't get rid of all this loose matte gold leaf. Look at that. Look at these beautiful flowers here. Even though I was trying to cover everything on the first application, I'm noticing some color province coming underneath the gold. So all I have to do is go back and keep adding more. And now we're going to continue brushing this off. And this is why I tell you, don't be scared if you mess up, because I messed it up here. I applied glue all around the flower and now it looks messy, and that happens almost on every project. There is some spot that I make mistake like this, and I'm going to show you how to easily fix it. All you have to do is get a little detail brush, and I'm using this Annie's Lawn detail brush, and I'm going to get some of my color Provence, and I'm just going to touch it up around it. We're going to do that in 2 coats, and then once it's dry, we're going to just wax over it, and nobody will ever know that you made a mistake. So I promise you, it's not a big deal. And that's why I told you to take your time and be patient, so you don't have to be going around fixing your mistakes. I was rushing here a little bit, and that's why I messed up. But those are just all lessons, not mistakes. We have a gold leaf on the lens. And one thing I told you is don't be afraid of gold leafing, but it's definitely going to be messy. We have a lot of mess on the floor and on the table, but that is totally normal. You can collect all these loose pieces, keep them for something else. You don't have to toss them away. You can use them as fillers later on some other projects. Now that we're done gold leafing, there is one step that you have to do when using chalk paint, and that is clear wax for protection. This is Annie's Lawn clear wax, and this is what you always use for your protection. And now let me teach you how to properly protect and wax your pieces. For waxing, you can use Annie's Lawn brush. This one was designed for waxing. You can also use a cheesecloth or microfiber cloth as well. You will want to dip your brush into the wax, grab some. As you can see, I have quite a lot on my brush, and that is totally fine. And now I'm going to start applying it on my table. You just want to wipe it on there, apply it, and cover a whole surface. Don't worry about looking messy right now, because we're just getting started, and all we're trying to do is cover the whole top. So there is 2 steps of waxing. The first one is applying the wax and spreading it all over the surface. And you can do this section by section, drawer by drawer. If you are doing a top, a big dresser top, then you want to do that at once. And once you apply the clear wax everywhere and you cover everything, you will have a lot of extra wax on there. But don't worry about that. All you have to do now is grab a cheesecloth or a microfiber cloth, and you are going to wipe all that extra wax off your pieces. This is going to leave your furniture with a beautiful matte finish if you prefer matte finish. If you want a little bit of shine, all you have to do is come back the next day and buff it using a microfiber cloth again, and you will have a nice shiny furniture. The only real trick to applying the clear wax is to spread it evenly everywhere around your furniture. Clear wax is going to protect your gold leaf and your transfers as well. So you just want to apply this as a last step, and you want to apply it all over your furniture. Basically, do this to the entire piece and you will be done. Now you know how to paint furniture. And there you have it. We're all done. With those 4 simple steps, now you know how to paint, protect, and add a glamorous touch to your furniture with absolute confidence. It's easy as that, and anyone can do it. Now you have the knowledge and tools to transform your furniture into your masterpieces. So go and have fun.